So these are the formulae from grade 10 and well, not grade 10, but from grade 11 that you would need. This comes straight off a grade 12 formula sheet. So we know distance formula, midpoint, the equation of a line. Sometimes you see the equation of a line given like this. Y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. I never ever use that. You can if you want to, it's not a problem. Gradient, and then of course, angle of inclination tan theta equals m. Okay, so let's jump into the first question where we are being asked to work backwards and calculate the value or values of k if the length of the line segment joining points A and B is the square root of 80. Okay, so anybody got any ideas as to what we would do with this particular question? How am I going to calculate the value of k? What should I do? Go for it, Teddy.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
We will use the formula of the distance, and we will sub in our given points, and as they said, AB is square root 80, and then we'll obviously do some algebra to find K.
Absolutely. Okay, 100% Teddy, you're quite right. So we're going to make AB root 80. And we're now going to sub in our change in x. Okay, so I think it's probably easier to start with the k at the front. So I'm going to say, oh man, it's doing that, k minus, and then here we're going to put in 2 squared plus, go back to this bracket, 5 minus -3, so that would be plus 3 squared like so. Okay, there we go. And now our next step would be to get rid of the square brackets, or sorry, the roots. So we are going to square both sides of our equation. This means we end up with 80 on the left, and on the right-hand side, we've got k minus 2 squared plus 5 plus 3 squared. Okay, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to let you guys do the rest. Okay, I want to hear what your solutions for K are going to be. Let's see what you guys get for K. Amahle, nothing. We're working backwards. We're doing analytical geometry today. We're working backwards to find the value of K. Using distance formula, we've been told that the length of line AB is root 80. So we have just subbed in, and now we're trying to work out what the values of K are. All right, so you've missed nothing. Okay, and I've said to everybody, all the rest of the grade 12s, they need to solve for K, and then you can DM me your answers or you can DM Yolanda. Okay, and Lankla's got one answer. Okay, we'll just wait for everybody else. Okay, good, Teddy, well done. And Nhlanhla and Letabo, why do you only have one answer for K? Why do you not have another answer? Okay, so it does say here values. Okay, so there's no reason for us. That's it. There we go. Good job. Okay, so that's been done really nicely. Well done, guys. So just multiplying out our brackets, getting it into standard form. That's it, Mikhail. I quite agree with you. And only if they told us, whoopsie, so K equals 6 or K equals -2. So if they told us that K was positive or K was negative, then we could disregard one of our answers. Okay, or sometimes what they do is they can say to you, B is a point in the second quadrant, or B is a point in the fourth quadrant. And then based on the sign of X in that quadrant, we could then disregard an answer. Okay, all right, but otherwise, we would be required to give both of our answers. Okay, good job, everybody. So working backwards there, not a problem for us. Often what they expect us to do in analytical geometry is to work backwards with midpoint. Okay, so if we have a look, M is the midpoint of line ED, and its coordinates are 1 and -2. We need to calculate the X coordinate at D, and we need to calculate the Y coordinate at E. Sorry, Lorraine. Yes, Lorraine, that is quite right. So when they said values, absolutely. So normally, either it's quadratic and there would be like two solutions, or sometimes when they say value or values, your answer is in the form of an inequality. Okay, so there would be more than one answer. Okay, but in this case, it's a quadratic, it's not an inequality, and there would be two possible solutions. Yeah, good question. All right, so let's work backwards. And no problem, Lorraine. We can work out the value of X and the value of Y. Do you know how to do this, or do I need to do it with you guys? Or do you want to do it by yourselves?
On our own first, ma'am. Then we'll
On
see.
your own. All right, Teddy, go for it. That's fine. Try it on your own, guys.
Remember to let us know when you are done on the charts.
Yep, perfect. Well done. Okay, so Leanne and Nhlanhla and Mamelo all got answers there. Cool beans. I'm just going to wait one more minute. Yes. Okay, so I agree with all the answers that have been put there. That's perfect. So for x, you would have gone x plus 3 over 2 equals 1, cross multiplied. And x would have been equal to -1. Well done. As far as y is concerned, it would have been y plus -5 over 2, and that would have been equal to -2. So y minus 5 after you cross multiplied would be -4. Add 5 to both sides, and that's why x is -1 and y is 1. Good job. Well done, everybody. Let's move on. Okay, now, given A, B, C, and D, we need to calculate the value of K in each case, right? First case is if AB is parallel to CD. Second case is if AB is perpendicular to CD, all right? Again, I'm going to let you guys try this on your own. Remember, lines that are parallel have got the same gradient. There you go, Michael. You'll be able to see the corrections. Lines that are perpendicular, the product of their gradients is -1. Okay. All right, so again, I'm going to let you try this on your own matrix. Michael, I hope that was enough time for you.
Yes, it was, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, good. No problem. I'm just going to plug my laptop in. I see my battery's going flat. Elaine, I'll be 2 secs.
That's okay. And let's not forget to put down when we are done on the chart.
Yes, please. Okay, Linda's done. Okay, so Amahle, where are you stuck? Linda, no problem. Amahle,
Evening, ma'am.
Evening, Amahle.
I'm stuck on like on the perpendicular question.
Okay, so that's the one that Linda said she wanted to do. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I tell you what, Linda, are you ready to talk about what you did for the perpendicular one for part B?
Yes, ma'am. But
Okay,
ma'am, could I
so
please confirm,
just say that again, please.
ma'am, could I please confirm that K is equal to 4?
Is that what you got for B?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get that, but I could have made a mistake. But let's see what you. Okay, so let's see what you did. You tell me what you did for part B. What did you write?
Ma'am, I used the gradient formula and substituted
Calculate the gradient of.
A and B.
Okay. So you calculated
and I said that they were equal to -1 because when 2
Okay, so you would have had to multiply them together and get -1, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So in other words, just correct me if I'm wrong. If we first work with the gradient of line CD, you would have said change in y, so that would be 7 minus 6, over change in x would be -2 minus 4, multiplied by the gradient of AB. Okay, so change in y, that would be -5 minus 1 over change in x. So that would be k minus -2. So that would be +2. And that's got to be equal to -1. Is that what you wrote?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. Amahle, does that answer your question? This is not the only way we could set it out, but does that make sense?
No, ma'am.
It
Unfortunately,
doesn't at all.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay. All right. So when lines are perpendicular, the product of their gradients is always -1. So the gradient of line AB multiplied by the gradient of line CD is equal to -1.
Okay.
Okay. This is something that you know from grade 11, yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what you could do as an alternative here is you could work out the gradient of line CD separately if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay. And then you could say the gradient of line CD multiplied by the gradient of line AB gives you -1, and then that would give you the gradient of line AB. And then you could take this second part. Okay, so what Linda's done here is she's done it all in one, or you could do it in 2 steps if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense to you? Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's fine. So we're getting lots of different answers here, which is quite interesting because Teddy's saying is K equal to 1. Unati's saying K is equal to -8. I didn't get any of, what did you get, Linda, for K for part B?
Ma'am, I calculated it wrongly, but I got 4.
Okay, so Lebogang got -3. I also got K equals -3. Gugu and Lebogang, I got the same answer as you. I also got K is equal to -3 in this case. Okay, so if we set it out Linda's way, let's just go ahead and do that. This would leave us with 1 over -6 multiplied by -6 over K plus 2 equals -1. When we multiply fractions, we've got to multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. So that would give us -6 at the top. And at the bottom, we would have -6K minus 12, and that would be equal to -1. So it's -1 over 1. Cross multiply. This would give us -6 is equal to 6K plus 12. Then we would take that plus 12 over to the other side. So this would be -18 is equal to 6K. Divide both sides by 6, and that's why K is equal to -3. Okay. Gugu, I got a bit of a weird answer. I'm just wondering now if I did this correctly or not. I got K is equal to 34. What did you get, Gugu? You also got 34. Okay, all right, that's cool. Leanne, you as well. Oh, no, Martley. Okay, all right. So I thought 34, that's a bit of a big number, but all right, that's fine. Okay, Teddy, your hand went up. What's up, Teddy?
Ma'am? Does MC by the 3rd step?
Yes.
I don't know why I got instead -6 over 12 plus 6K.
Okay.
Because of we times by negative, or maybe my mistake is that I said that the negative of 1 over 6 applies to both of the 1 and the 6.
Yes, you see, it doesn't. Okay, so when a fraction is negative, you've either got to put the negative sign at the top or at the bottom. It doesn't belong to both at the same time.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
Teddy, I
ma'am.
know it's a pleasure. It's a common mistake that happens. Okay, Unati, we'll talk about that now. Let's just see who else had a hand up. Amahle?
Ma'am, for question A,
Ooh, hang on a second.
the way we got
Sorry, guys.
the way we
Yes.
got to the answer of 34, am I right in saying that you had to do the gradient formula, and you have to do 2, so you're going to be the gradient of AB is going to be equal to the gradient formula of CD. But
Correct.
then but why would our answer of 34 be like that large.
That's just what it ended up being in this particular case. Let's do it. Okay, because Unati's also asking how did that happen? Okay,
Okay.
so we know that the gradient of CD is equal to the gradient of AB because these lines are parallel. So the gradient of CD would be change in Y, so that would be 7 minus 6 over change in X minus 2 minus 4. And that's going to be equal to the gradient of AB. So change in Y, so that's minus 5 minus 1 over change in X. That would be K plus 2 because it's minus 2. So 7 minus 1 is 6. This would be equal to negative 1 over 6. That's going to be equal to negative 6 at the top, and this is going to be equal to K plus 2. Now again, we're going to cross multiply. So I'm multiplying 1 with K plus 2, so that gives me K plus 2. And negative 6 times negative 6 is going to leave me with positive 36. So if I take the 2 over to the other side, I'm going to end up with 34. Okay. Amahle, did you want to ask another question?
Sorry, no, ma'am. My hand is still up.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, so we all happy with that? Cool. All right, lovely. Okay, well done, everybody. Let's jump on. Okay, so now the next thing that they would ask us to do is calculate an angle of inclination. All right, so in the first instance, Mamelo's thumbs up, that's lovely. We need to use the formula tan theta equals m. Okay, but you need to be careful, grade 12s. All right, this theta here is just a generic letter. They use theta. It could be alpha, it could be beta, whatever the case is. If they have given you a, let's just get a Cartesian plane, and let's just plot these coordinates. Okay, so P or Q would be here at minus 3 and minus 3, and P would be over there at 2 and 1. Your angle of inclination is always measured from the horizontal in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this would be theta over here, but it could just as well be called alpha or beta or whatever the case is. So just be careful in diagrams where there is more than one angle. If they ask you to calculate an angle of inclination, make sure you use the letter that they give you. Don't call it theta if there's another angle that's theta in the diagram. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? All right, so if in the diagram, let's say that this is not theta, let's say this is called alpha, then you're going to work out tan alpha equals gradient. Okay, so make sure you use the correct name of the angle over there. Okay, matrix. Now this one's easy. Okay, our angle of inclination is going to be acute, because the gradient of our line is positive. Okay, so I want you to work out alpha and tell me how big you calculate alpha to be. Okay, very nice. Some people have already got answers. So just make sure that you calculate the gradient, that you show that, and then that you've worked out what alpha is. Okay. Okay, so are the rest of you getting the same value? Are you getting 38.66 for alpha? Lovely. Cool. All right, now let's have a look at this. So 1 and -1 would be somewhere over there. Good, well done. +5 and -4. So that means that we have to be in quadrant 4. So point N, I don't know, somewhere like that. Okay, so this line, it's supposed to be a straight line. Sorry, I'm not drawing it very well. So M is -1 and -1, and N has the coordinates 5 and -4. So here, our angle of inclination, again, it is measured from the horizontal in an anti-clockwise direction. So here, this angle is not acute, it is obtuse. It's an obtuse angle. So let's call it beta for the sake of another name. So tan beta. Now, this one I'm going to do with you. And just forgive me if you know how to do this, then I'm sorry, I'm not trying to waste your time. But a lot of matrics lose marks on this in trials. Okay, you've got to be very careful when your angle is obtuse. A lot of matrics write, and I'll show you what they do that's wrong, and you end up being penalized for it. Okay, so let's first of all work out the gradient of line MN. So the gradient of line MN in this case is going to be change in Y over change in X. So the gradient is -3 over 6. So it's -1 over 2. You guys getting the same answer? Good. All right. Okay. So the correct way in which to set this out. Now, it depends on who has taught you at school, how they like to do this. What I always do is I teach my grade 11s and my matrics to calculate a PAA or a reference. Okay, so in other words, you would go shift tan and pop in your half, your 1 over 2. What do you get? That's it. So 26,56. So that's your reference angle or your PAA. So beta, your obtuse angle, is going to be equal to 180 minus 26,56. Okay, you cannot say that the PAA or the reference angle is beta. If you do that, you are going to be penalized. Okay, so 180 minus 26,56 gives you an angle of what? Are you getting 153,44 degrees, matrix? Okay, just make sure you round correctly, okay? That's it. Okay, so that's angle of inclination. Good job. Okay, let's move on. So here, they have given us A, -5 and 2, B, -1 and 4, C, 2 and 3, D, 6 and -3, and they want us to calculate the size of alpha formed between lines AC and BD. Anybody got any idea how we would do this? What are we going to use? Sure, Leanne. Sorry. Go for it, Leanne. Screenshot. Amahle, how are we going to work out angle alpha in our next question?
Ma'am, could you please scroll down to the question? Sorry.
Sure, there you go.
Okay. So how you would work out the angle of alpha, you'd first work out the angle of inclination for line BD, and then you'd also work out the angle of inclination for line CA, and then I think you would use the exterior angle of a triangle to work out alpha.
100%. 100%.
Okay,
Well done.
thank you.
100%. Good. Okay, go for it, guys. Lovely. So you can calculate beta and alpha, and the difference between beta and theta will give you alpha. Go for it. Let's see what you guys get. Teddy, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Are there two ways in order to work out alpha? Because I'm kind of confused why the other one way is to say that alpha is the exterior angle of a triangle.
It is. So
And triangle.
beta's, yeah, you're quite right. It's beta that's the exterior angle of the triangle. So your triangle is here, there, there, there. And when one of your sides of your triangle is extended, that's when an exterior angle is created. So beta is the exterior angle of the triangle. Okay, so in other words, alpha plus theta equals beta in this case.
Yeah.
Okay, and unfortunately, sometimes this is very subtle and quite difficult to pick up in questions, but it's important that we understand the basics and then we can have a look at the more difficult questions. So that's where you're going with this. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem. Gugu, yes, we would consider, no, beta would not be an acute angle, okay? Because when you calculate the gradient of line BD, you should see that it is negative. That means that beta will be an obtuse angle. Theta will be an acute angle because the gradient of line AC is positive. Okay, Gugu? Cool. I'm just getting my calculator, Yolanda.
No worries.
I didn't get that for beta. Yolanda, but I don't know, maybe it's not, maybe I made a mistake, but that's not what I got. Let's see what the other people ended up with. Okay, did I do something stupid then? Oh, I used the wrong. Yeah, I see what I've done now. It's supposed to be BD. Yeah, no, that is correct. Okay, so you should have worked out. There we go, Lebogang. Yes, you should have got beta is equal to 135. What have you guys got for alpha? I mean, sorry, for theta. So correct, beta is 135. Good. And Tlantla says he's got theta equal to 35. I've got 35,5. I got 35,54. Amatli, you've got 35,34. Yep. So just make sure you round carefully, okay, Matrix? I'm getting 35,54 correct to 2 decimal places. Okay. And then that means that alpha, Gugu's getting 99,50. Okay, so Gugu, careful with rounding. You should get 99,46. Okay, so don't round to 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places always. That's it. Good. Okay, any questions about this? Everybody happy with beta, theta, and alpha in this case? Yes. Good. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's talk about the equation of a line, and then we would have hopefully done all the revision we need. And then the next time that I do this with you, we can do some questions from past papers that are actually a little bit tricky, and it's the application of everything that we know how to do. Okay, so let's do something a little bit more challenging. Let's have a look at question A here. So if they told us to determine the equation of a line that is parallel to the line 3y minus 2x equals 6 and passes through the point 9 and minus 1, do we know how to do that? Yes, and Nhlanhla, take a screenshot. There you go. If you want to do this for homework, you can. Okay, so you have to calculate the size of angle M. Okay, Nhlanhla, this question here. If you want more practice, here's some homework for you. No problem. Okay. So question A, do we know what to do here, Matrix? They've given us an equation. It's not in standard form. What would we need to do first? Amahle, go for it.
First, you'd have to change them to standard form, which is y is equal to mx plus c.
Sure. So we would end up with 3y equals 2x plus 6. And then what would I divide through by?
By 3.
So we'd end up with y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. Now, how are we going to find the equation of the line that's parallel to this one? What are we going to do next?
Ma'am, would the line be parallel or does it pass through the points?
Okay, so the line that we need to find the equation of is parallel to this one, but it passes through this point over here.
Okay. Would that mean
Okay.
that we use that weird formula that has the bracket, the y2 minus y1 in the brackets is equal to m?
You can if you want to, but I wouldn't even bother. The quickest and easiest way for you to do it is like this. You know that when lines are parallel, their gradients are the same. So the equation of the line that you want has the same gradient. We just don't know what its y-intercept is. And now, in order to calculate that, we're going to sub in our 9 and our minus 1. So we're going to take the minus 1, put it over here, put our 9 over there, and work out the value of C. It's that easy. What are you guys getting as a value for C? Me too. I'm also getting -7. Okay, so the equation of the parallel line, it would be the line y equals 2 over 3x. Be careful, don't leave off the x. Sometimes matrics are in such a hurry that happens. I agree, and Nhlanhla, that's exactly what I would get as well. Do we have time to do the perpendicular? Yolanda? Should we do B quickly, matrix, since we just got started a little bit late because of the link? Are you guys happy with that? Yes, me too. Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right. So in part B, we have got a line y equals 1 over 2x plus 1. Okay, we want to find the equation of the perpendicular. So how are we going to find the gradient of the perpendicular from what we've been given? How are we going to find the gradient of the perpendicular? So it would be the gradient of our line multiplied by the gradient of the perpendicular is going to be equal to -1. Because remember, the products of the gradients always equal -1 if the lines are perpendicular. So that means that the gradient that we want is going to be equal to -2. Everybody be with that. Good, Leanne, yes. And then same story, make life easy for yourself. Okay, now we're going to take our new gradient, y equals -2x plus c, and we're going to sub in that point that they gave us, -6 and 2. So 2 is going to go here, -6 is going to go there, and then we can work out the value of c. That's it, Nhlanhla. Okay, so the gradient, sorry, the equation of this line, it would be the line y equals -2x minus 10. Okay, everybody happy? Good stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna just run the poll because we're running late. Is that fine?
That's fine. If anybody wants more work, you can also take a screenshot. And Nhlanhla, I know you always like homework. If you want to try those questions.